URL queues, how to use them and what they do. Well, a URL queue is actually really simple. All we do is, rather than playing the MP3 file stored on your device, we're playing it from a remote location stored somewhere on the internet. Now that does mean, to use a URL queue, you do need to have an internet connection. If for some reason you don't, well, it won't work. So please make sure you have a stable and reliable internet connection before expecting any URL queues to work. But how do you add them? Well, like any other queue, we're going to head to the top right corner and press the plus, and we're going to hit URL there, the last option on the list. And then inside there, you can see that we've created this URL tile, and it looks like any other queue. Now at the moment, if I was to tap this, it would do nothing because there is no data. Now I'm going to go into the URL queue, and you can see it looks like a normal queue that you would get inside SOLOstudio PRO. There's all the normal options, perfect timing, double tap, auto playing the next queue when it finishes. There's fade in, fade out, lots of options. Now you can play with those and set them to your heart's content. However, I'm just going to leave them as completely off for now. Now you can see at the bottom where you would expect the waveform to be of the audio file. There's actually a URL box where you can type in the URL to your file that you would like to play that's remote somewhere on the internet. Now what you can do is you can either type in the direct link to a file, in other words, it ends with the file name .mp3 or .m4a or whatever the extension is on the file. Or you can type in a URL that goes to a directory. In other words, it ends with /mymusic/. Now what that would happen then is, rather than playing a specific music file, it would play the music file inside that directory. Now that's really useful for some other apps like The Stranger by Jonathan Levitt. There's a separate video on that which you'll be able to watch, which will show you how to set that up. But ultimately, that link either has to be to a directory with just one file in it, or to one file itself, which ends in .mp3. So I'm going to navigate away from this, and I'm going to go onto my browser. And as you can see, I found this song on the internet that I want to include in SOLOstudio. So I can see here there's a link from the source, which is HTTPS, and it ends in /helix.mp3. Perfect. So I'm going to click and hold that, and I'm going to copy link. I'm going to go back into SOLOstudio, and I'm going to click inside the URL box, and I'm simply going to paste that link in. Yes, I'm going to allow a paste. And as you can see, I now have that link inside. Now you can also set the start time. In other words, how many seconds into the track you want to begin playing. Again, that's useful for Jonathan Levitt's The Stranger integration. Separate video, check that out. But for this one, I want to play the whole song, so we're going to start at 0. And then once you've done that, you just go back, and it's as simple as that. Now, like I say, make sure you've got an internet connection, but then on simply queuing that URL, it immediately begins playing the URL. So how is it doing that? Well, we're pulling the data live from our server, from the server that is hosting that MP3 file, and then playing it back. And it's as simple as that. And that is how to use URL queues inside SOLOstudio PRO.